Hello and welcome back to the Sky and the Shy podcast. I'm your host, Edwin Garcia, and today we're going to be talking about Game 2 of the WNBA Finals. The Chicago Sky lost 91-86. We're going to break it all down and preview Game 3 coming up on Friday. Let's get into it. So wow, what an up and down game. It went all the way up to overtime and there was a lot of emotion. You could definitely tell, I said it in previous articles, it was a do or die game for the Phoenix Mercury and they played like it. The passion, the fieriness, the aggressiveness, it was all there. It was about as intense as a WNBA game is ever going to get. It was on 12 from the jump, and we saw that the entire game. It was a very intense game. The Chicago Sky did a good job in the first quarter, kind of handling it. They were up by 6 going into the second quarter, and then the second quarter, things ramped up a little bit. They got a little bit chippier. They got a little bit, spicy, if you will. You had players like Sophia Cunningham getting really aggressive. She got in a hot streak there in that second quarter, and then she got into a little bit of a rumble tumble there with Kahleah Copper, where she was going for a missed shot, trying to get the rebound, and then Copper was going after it as well. They tumbled together, both exchanged some words. Diana Taurasi shoved the ref, which apparently was allowed. I don't know what was up with that, but it was just a lot of passion, a lot of emotion. Everything was, like I said, on 12, and you could tell the crowd was really into it. They said it was, about 13,000 fans. It sounded like 30,000 on TV. It was extremely loud, extremely vocal, and it was the kind of high energy experience you want from a WNBA Finals game. From the fans, the crowd, everything was just at its peak, and that was incredible to see. Unfortunately, of course, the Chicago Sky ended up losing, but they played an amazing game as well. They pushed it all the way to its limit, pushed it to overtime. Courtney Vandersloot made a game-tying layup late in the fourth quarter to tie the game up, and Phoenix had the final possession, and they just couldn't get anything done. I believe Brittney Griner was being guarded by Candace Parker, and she either deflected the ball or kind of sort of blocked the shot. They didn't really get a good look at the final play there. The Mercury didn't, and ultimately weren't able to really convert, and the game went into overtime. And overtime is always interesting to me. It usually ends up, from my experience watching overtime, you have to score quickly right away. The team that kind of scores early in overtime wins because it's such a short amount of time, just 5 minutes, it's half of a quarter. If you get a little hot streak, that might be enough. There's also the factors of tired legs, exhaustion, maybe foul trouble from certain players, and then the nerves, especially at this moment. It's a WNBA Finals game that really both teams wanted. The Sky wanted it because that pretty much secures the championship. They'll go up 2-0 with a Game 3 at home and a potential Game 4 at home. And then the Mercury know this. They need to win. They cannot go down 0-2 and then go to the road for 2 games. It's a very, the result of this game was going to totally swing the entire series compared to even Game 3. Now that it's tied, the Game 3 loser will obviously, feel pressure, but no, hey, I just need to win the next game and then we force Game 5. It's different. The 0-1 in a best of 5 is a totally different scenario. Then the Game 2 is a swing game. It decides, would this potentially be a close series, or is this pretty much over? That's what Game 2 decides in a best of 5 matchup, first to 3. So with that, there's going to be nerves, and I really think those first 2 minutes of overtime matters so much. And in the first 2 minutes of overtime for the Sky, things didn't go good at all. They were unable to score early. The Phoenix Mercury went on a 5-0 run with just about at that 2-minute mark, like I mentioned, at the 3:47, it was 79-85, and it was tied 79-79 in regulation. So they really didn't have anything those first couple minutes. They missed a few shots. Taurasi hit a 3, had a 4-point play. It was just a rough time. Skylar Diggins had a basket there as well. And again, that 6-point lead with like 3 minutes and change left was just too much for the Sky to overcome. They were unable to really close the gap in a significant way. And the game ended up 91-86. And that's how things ended up. So props to the Phoenix Mercury. Obviously, they did their thing. It took everything from them. I think there's... looking at both sides, there's positives and negatives on both. Mercury has to be happy with, hey, we had a good game. We got performances from Cunningham, and we also got a really good performance from Shea Petty. she played well as well, besides the obvious performances you're going to get from Brittany Griner and Taurasi, which were very good. Skylar Diggins-Smith didn't give you a great game, but she did score some buckets late, which helped. I felt like near the end of the game, it was just Griner and Taurasi, and then Diggins just scored a couple times that said, hey, I'm out here too. So even though she only had 13 points, a few of those baskets came in late in the fourth quarter and in overtime, and those baskets are worth their weight in gold. So that's something to acknowledge there for the Phoenix Mercury. And hey, at the end of the day, it's 1-1. That's not what you wanted. You wanted to win your 2 home games and just have to win a road game. But ultimately, you know, you're facing a really good team in this Chicago Sky team. So you understand it's going to be a little harder than, you know, you would want it to be. So you say, hey, it's 1-1, not where we want to be, but we're not in a huge deficit or anything. You got to win a road game and then, you know, take it from there. So I think they can be happy. And the Sky as well. I know they're, you know, Skytown especially on Twitter was very disappointed. They didn't like the disparity in foul calls. It was definitely way on the Phoenix side. They shot 11 free throws. The Sky only shot 4. But hey, ultimately we can talk about this ref didn't eject this player. There wasn't a tech here. They took away a Diamond DeShields 3 way after she hit a 3 at the buzzer in the fourth. And after a timeout, they looked at it and they took it away. That seemed like a really close call. I don't know if you could take it away based on the evidence, but they made that decision. There was one play where Chicago Sky got the ball. Apparently, the Sky fouled as the ball was getting tipped out by the Phoenix Mercury, so that call was changed. There was a lot of those kinds of things, but, you know, I'm always a person who tries to avoid the ref talk. I think it's just, it starts to sound like sour grapes. Even if you're right, I'm going to assume Wade and the rest of the organization will point out some of these things. A defensive 3-second call as well, I believe, in overtime. You know, it's not that the call wasn't wrong, it's just I do not see that call made. That is extremely rare. I think if the Sky look at the tape and send to the WNBA every time Phoenix Mercury had a defensive 3 seconds, it would be an enormous one. You just don't really call that unless it's really, really blatant and is becoming, you know, an obvious thing. Again, not that it was the wrong call, it's just weird to make that call in such a tight game. Defensive 3 seconds just doesn't make sense. But hey, they called it. So again, I don't want to make excuses. I think in general you have to control what you can control. And the Sky had an opportunity. The game was tied. It went to overtime. That was the moment to take care of things, and they just fell a little short. And I think that's fine. When you look at the big picture, if I would have told Chicago Sky fans, hey, you're going to go to play 2 games in Phoenix in the WNBA finals, you're gonna win one of the road games, and game 3 and 4 are gonna be home. What do you think about that? They're gonna sign up for that every time. Obviously, 2-0 is better, but 1-0, 1-1 is really what you want. You just want to win one of the road games and then take care of home, and they're gonna get a chance to do that. And according to everyone who knows about it, the Chicago Sky's Wintrust Arena will be completely sold out, so they're gonna have a packed house ready to go, and that's good for them. They're right where they want to be. At home, just win your home games, you're champs. So they have to still be happy, even if it's a tough pill to swallow, losing an overtime game where you really could have put the nail in the coffin. But again, woulda, coulda, shoulda, we can do that all day. The point is, it's 1-1 going back to Chicago. In terms of Chicago Sky performances, I want to highlight, there's a couple that I think were really good. And when your team's playing as well as the Sky are playing, you got a lot of people you can give flowers to. But I want to give a few really quick. One, obviously, Courtney Vandersloot. She's been amazing. She had another game where she shot over 50% from the field. She played 41 minutes, more than any player on the Sky, and I believe more than any player on either team. Yeah, she tied with Brittany Griner for most minutes. She was out there the whole time. She was incredible. Had 20 points, 14 assists. We didn't even really talk about that. 5 steals. She was amazing, unbelievable. Can't say much more about Courtney Vandersloot. She's been awesome, and she's been the offensive leader and kind of one of the focal points of the team, for years now, and she's still playing well and playing her best at the highest level. That's tremendous. Kalia Copper also had a really good game. Also shot 50% from the field, 15 points. She was really good. Got key rebounds when you needed them. She had 9 rebounds in the game. So she just, every time you needed a rebound, needed a second chance opportunity, she was there battling the boards. And being a smaller guard, it's really impressive seeing her athleticism, her power and force. She doesn't look like a strong player when you just look at her, but then once the ball tips off, you see how strong she is, how quick she is, how nimble she is. It was incredible. And another one is Allie Quigley. I think Allie Quigley, she had a really bad, first 2-3 quarters really, where she was shooting terrible from 3. She was 0 for 7. She rallied back 3 for 12, hit some key threes there late in the fourth to kind of keep the team in it and battle back when they were down most of the fourth quarter. So props to Allie Quigley for keeping her head in the game, staying focused. She ended the night with 19 points, on 7 for 20 shooting, which wasn't tremendous, but again, she battled through and she was able to knock down some of those threes over Brittany Griner when she was open late in the fourth, which really helped cause this game to go into overtime. Without those Allie Quigley threes, we don't even reach overtime, so definitely props to her. Few minor negatives here. I think the bench disappointed again. You didn't really get anything. Dolson again led the team in bench scoring, but now she didn't have 14, she just had 5. And I think Dolson was really good. She played 22 minutes. She was a strong defender. Didn't give you much offensively, but she did hit a 3 here. She had another basket there, so I think she was fine, but she cannot normally be your biggest production person coming off the bench. It's usually a bad sign, and it was. DeShields had 2 points, Evans had 3 points, Lexi Brown really didn't play, so that bench is slimming up, and I mentioned it. We need good Dana Evans minutes to give Courtney Vandersloot rest. That didn't really happen. Only got a couple minutes there. And then Diamond DeShields, again, she had another rough outing, didn't really play too well. Again, I always believe in Diamond DeShields' ability, and I said if she has a good game, that's going to put them over. It's rare. If she has a good game, team's probably going to win because that's just one too many weapons. So hopefully she can have a good one here. She's due for one. I hope she keeps her head up. I know she's been visibly frustrated, blowing defensive coverages and then getting subbed out, and her and Wade having words, really Wade having words with her and her just absorbing it. I know it's been difficult for her. I hope she keeps her head in the game and stays engaged. We saw Candace Parker kind of, played good cop after maybe Wade played bad cop for a moment, a little bit in between timeouts there. They need her. If she's on it, if she's playing her best, this team's going to have an opportunity to really win and blow a team out, because Diamond DeShields hot. That's just one too many weapons. She's a good defender as well. She can switch. She's fast, similar to Kalia Copper. It might just be way too much for the Mercury to handle, especially with these games being close. Again, the Sky won in a blowout fashion in game 1, and they barely lost game 2 in overtime. So you give me a Diamond DeShields, dropping 15, 18 points. They're not going to be able to handle that. I'm telling you right now. So we need Diamond DeShields to stay engaged. I know it's a disappointing game, but you have the ability to be the difference maker here, and hopefully she is in game 3. All right, so speaking of game 3, it's time to talk about it. Game 3 is happening on Friday at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, so check your local listings for what time the game is for you, but it's going to be an exciting one. Obviously, the person who wins, or the team who wins, will take a 2-1 lead, and that'll be a commanding lead with an ability to close things out on Sunday for a Game 4. Now we know for a fact we're going to get a Game 4. The question is, are we going to get a Game 5? So Game 3 is big. Game 3 is huge. It's in Chicago, Wintrust Arena, sold out already. Game 3 is already sold out. I'm assuming Game 4 is going to be sold out very soon. So if you want to go to Game 4, you need to get tickets now. And if you want to go to Game 3, you're going to have to pay a lot, or have a friend who can hook you up with someone that has tickets, because they're already gone. They're sold out. It's the hottest ticket in Chicago for good reason. It's WNBA Finals Game 3, and a win really puts them in the driver's seat for Game 4. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting, and really, the keys to the game at this point. These teams have played each other enough, and you've seen enough of good Chicago Sky playoff basketball and subpar Chicago Sky playoff basketball. They've been doing a great job on the boards. They've been dominating there. The Sky needs to shoot a little bit better from 3. That comes with Quigley not having a bad game like she did most of this game too here. They need to shoot, I think, above 36%. That's my magic number. If they're above that, that means they're above average. They're doing that. They're winning the rebounding battle, and hopefully keeping turnovers down just a little bit. They're going to be in a good position. And again, bench production. Somebody's got to step up. Will it be Dolson? Will it be Copper with the big game? Will it be Dana Evans, able to play 10 minutes and give Vandersloot some rest, who's playing really, really high minutes here? And it's going to start factoring in with fatigue and exhaustion, right? So maybe it's a committee thing like that where you get a little bit of everything, but we need some bench production. It can't just be those 5 out there. Can Asbury Stevens give you more offensively? She's doing a good job defensively, but not too great offensively. She's not really known for her offensive game, so I understand, but someone's going to have to kind of push a little bit above their normal, right? You're going to get a great Quigley game, likely. You'll get a really good Parker. You know what Parker is. You know what Vandersloot is. So you really want to see, okay, if everyone else plays fine, who's going to step up to take us to that next level? You saw that with the Mercury, right? Petty played better. Cunningham played. She was productive for a spurt, not the whole game, but it was a little boost, a little spark plug in that second quarter. You're going to need that from the Sky's role players as well to kind of push a little bit, take it over the edge. Take it from a 5-point game to a 10-point game, from an 8-point game to a 13-point game. You're going to need some of those role players to pop a little, or one of those starters to just have a monster game. Like Parker has 35, something crazy. And then that might be the X factor. So those are the keys to the game for me. Those are the things that need to happen if the Sky want to win and come out of game 3 up 2-1. I think they're going to do it. I believe in them. I think they're going to win this game. I think they're kind of in control. The main thing is Griner as well. Griner was just unbeatable. We already know how tough it is for Griner to be slowed down. It doesn't really exist. You really just want to hopefully scheme her out, deny her the ball, and give her the ball as far away from the basket as possible, which is extremely difficult. So Griner is going to eat just like Taurasi is going to eat. You just want to make them work for everything and make it hard for them. Same with Taurasi. She's very physical. She's very aggressive. She's jawing at the refs. It's tough to slow her down, but you have to do your best. And same thing with Griner. Those are the keys. If you can at least keep them at like superstar but not super duper star, that's all you can ask for. They're getting everything they want, so just make it harder for them as much as possible. And Quigley's doing a good job with that on the offensive side of the ball, especially in that fourth quarter. Taurasi was getting a little tired of chasing her off screens, of fighting off screens to try to guard her. And she realized every time she left her open, she'd hit one of those big threes, especially late in that fourth quarter. And I saw that it was grating on Taurasi a little. So Quigley can help by just making Taurasi work on both sides of the floor, having to be the offensive producer when they have the ball, and then having to guard a scorer like Quigley, on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see what happens. Either way, we'll be back here for another podcast. I'm so excited. We're just going to keep on bringing them here, and we'll recap Game 3. Hopefully after Game 3, we're talking about Chicago Sky victory, and then they'll be one win away from clinching the WNBA championship on a Sunday. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited. I'm hyped. But again, step by step, it's 1-1. We knew this wasn't going to be an easy thing. The Mercury are a very good team. It's 1-1. Let's see what happens on Game 3. Again, forget about Game 2. Put it in the past. Learn what you can learn from it, but don't dwell on it. Don't get bitter about it. You have Game 3 at home. Take care of home court. You win your 2 home games, you're champ. It's that simple. Do your job. Take care of Chicago. Take care of Wintrust Arena, and you'll be up 2-1 heading into Game 4. So either way, we'll talk about it here. We'll break it all down post-game with a new podcast. So I'll talk to you then. Go Sky.